Hello everyone. It's beautiful day. Wow, the sun is just so perfect. 9 o'clock sun. Oh man, I love it out here. Anyway guys, I thank you guys so much again for continuing watching my video here in YouTube. And thank you for all the comments. And believe me guys, even me, when I watch my own story, I feel like, wow, I can't believe it's been 30 years and yet I be able to, this is beyond of my imagination that that I'm here talking and sharing this. And please keep it in mind, guys, that this is not about criticizing my ex-husband, okay? you know, it's the way I handle the situation also along the way. So, no, it's about survival too in the relationship or how to get out of it. I read some comments sometimes that, oh Lola, how to be you? No, don't be me, please. So because I have a lot of experiences that I handle different, so other women won't handle it the same. So don't be me, just be yourself and think about your priorities, the children, of course, and think about these children gonna grow up sometimes. They're gonna be on their own, and where you gonna be? Are you gonna be in this relationship that you're not happy with, or you gonna get out and and your children then move on, uh, having life on their own, and your life is gonna be stuck on this situation or not? So it's just a learning process, guys. Relationship is not perfect. There's no way. And sometimes it amazes me that on Facebook, like, I found my best friend. I found, no, I didn't have no best friend. So at that time, so just play along. When the life tell you wrong, you're wrong. I'm just hoping that this would give a life lesson to any woman out there, or to any young girls, just like I was young when I dreamed to come to America. And I know there's a lot out there in the Philippines right now that they're struggling, to dream to come to America. So, but not all the dream is gonna come true, and not every man that you're gonna run into is the one I ran into. So, there's a life lesson here, guys. This is not just, I want people to feel sorry about me. No, it's not about that. It's the way I handle the situation, I think. To me, I learn from my own story. And it's amazing that we have these memories that is stored in our head, that a lot of us, or even me, I wish that I can unscrew it. I don't have to think about it, but no, I do think sometimes, because there's no way you can think about your past. Because if I forget my past, then it won't be me anymore. Because you got to think about your past and how you make it through, how you made it through. You kind of make a correction along the way. So you're gonna think all this, I gave a lot of thinking throughout the years. Okay, guys? Anyway, I like to continue my story. It was fun in Dandy. The California is not what I expected. I was on the side of California that is bundok. To make the long story short, yeah, it was fine in Dandy there for a little bit again. In California, it was cold, and I was so depressed. And there was a big trees in the front yard. and there was no leaves. I didn't realize that winter time here in America, all the leaves fall off. And then it'll come back in the spring. I had no idea because, hey, in the Philippines, if the tree don't have no leaves, it's dead, right? It's dead tree. So I thought, like, why this tree is still up? You know, nobody cut this down. I was just observing the place. And then later on, I come and realize both parents go to work. So that's when I realized, oh, you can't just stay home here in America. You know, you have to go to work. And the kids go to daycare. You know, and then I'm thinking, I don't want to leave my daughter. She was 3.5 years old at that time. I'm thinking, I don't want to leave my daughter at the babysitter or, you know, at the daycare, wherever. She's 3.5 years old and she speak two language at that time anyway, Tagalog and English. You know, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't feel like finding a job. You know, so to make the long story short, guys, I found out that I was pregnant. Oh yeah. With my second one. Okay, so here I am again in the situation that, oh, I'm gonna have a baby, excited, you know. And my husband at that time, he was excited too, you know, and everything was fine. Oh, that was really, really joyful for me. Because, you know why? I'm thinking that my eldest daughter gonna have a sister or brother. So, wow, that was a beautiful moment, guys. And luckily, like I said, the hospital there too is walking distance. So, every appointment that I'm gonna have, even though my husband go to work, you know, me and my daughter just walk to the hospital, you know, for my appointment. And so it was doing good and fine and dandy. And one day, me and my daughter was walking towards to a hospital, and there was a yard sale in the neighborhood. So we stopped, and then wow, you know, there was all kinds of baby clothes that I can buy, and it was so cheap. And there was a pocketbook, 20 cents each. I bought some pocketbooks. And then to make the long story short, guys, there's a boat. That was a nice boat. During my pregnancy, I read pocketbooks. This is where I learned how to, you know, spell. I paid attention on the spelling. I didn't quite understand it yet what I was reading. But the more I read, the more I kind of get the story. So that's where I learned how to read and write the spelling from the pocketbook. So that was good that I did that, you know, and I learned more. It's wave, the wave, and yay, the wave. They get me dancing. And so to make the long story short, during my pregnancy, I had to learn how to drive. We bought a car, and it was a Beretta car. It was a 5-speed. So I learned how to drive during my pregnancy too. And my stomach was so big, the steering wheels was right here. And to make a long story short, guys, I had my driver license. So I feel better after that too, being pregnant. To make the long story short, the following year, May, the end of May, my daughter was born. I had a baby girl again. So It was really hard, guys, while I was in the hospital because, you know, life here in America, your neighbor, you don't even know your neighbor. Yeah, a lot of neighbor, there was nobody there. You know, everybody's go to work. So, and my daughter was one of the Filipinas house behind where I live. That she had 3 kids too, and so my daughter stayed there for $1 an hour while I was at the hospital. And I was there for 5 days. And I was just happy that I was blessed again with another little girl. She was an angel. To make the long story short, guys. And then one day, it was 4th of July. I'll never forget this too. And there was the Blue Angel show, the airplane show. I wanna watch it. You and the kids watch it. And I said, where were you gonna be? He said that the company have a picnic of base, and we're having a barbecue, and he's not taking us with him. And I just didn't get that. So he went on with his battalion, and me and my 2 kids, I put my little one into a stroller, and we watched the Blue Angel show, air show. That was good. That was the first time that I watched that kind of show, you know, in California. To make the long story short, it's time for him to re-enlist. And they were measuring all the body fat, all the weight. They warned him to lose weight, you know, because he was overweight. I think at this time he's almost 250, I think, at that time, you know. But he don't eat at home, guys. That's what gets me. He hates my cooking. He hates rice. He just hates everything what I cook, you know. F this, F that, you know. And he always eat gali on base. Gali is a canteen, you know. I didn't know that either. Make the long story short, they sent him to San Diego while me and my kids stay in the housing for eating disorder. Okay? And while he was there, he'll be able to call, but there's a certain time that he can call. Okay, when he's there, he can't just call whenever he wants. I really didn't know what's going on over there. All I know, they sent him over there to teach him how to lose control of his weight. Okay, for 3 months, eating disorder. Actually, they was gonna kick him out. So they give him a certain time to lose weight. Anyway, to make the long story short, when he was in San Diego, one night, he called home. My daughter was 4 years old. And she was like, oh, I want to talk to daddy. I said, wait a minute, I'm still talking to daddy. And then she started crying and going on, you know, she just cried. Okay, and then I gave her the phone. I didn't think anything about it. The next day, me and the kids went to commissary. When we come home from commissary, there was a note in my door and saying that call me back. Then there was a number and then saying call me back. This is such and such, and children safety. I have to visit your house regardless of your children. I went to the neighbor and I knocked on the door, and I let her read the letter because I didn't understand it. And she said, oh no, this is the people that you don't want to mess with. I said, why? She said that this is a child welfare, you know. I said, why? She said that somebody reported you that you're abusing the kids. Are you abusing your kids? She said. I said, no. And so I called that number, you know. And then the next day they come over, and they asked me all kinds of questions about my children, and there were two of them. And then she started undressing my kids. She wanna see the bruises, and there was no bruises. And she told me that that they received a report that I've been abusing my children, and they was gonna get my children away from me. Oh my gosh, guys, I was so shocked. I said, I don't know. You know, I was crying and going on. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know what was that all about. You know, and thankfully, they didn't find no bruises, both of my children. Can you imagine, my little one was 4 months old, and they undressed her and everything and tried to find the bruise. And my 4 years old, they tried to find the bruise. They undressed them in front of me. So they didn't find nothing wrong in their body. So they just told me that, thank you for letting them in. Oh my gosh, guys, I thought I was really, really in big trouble. So that night when my husband called, I told him what happened. And I was crying, and he told me, sit down, sit down. And I was the one who reported you. Oh, oh my gosh. I said, why? And he said that the other night she was crying. And then I thought, you done beat her up. Because I learned it over here in this class that you're not supposed to abuse your children. He said, oh my gosh. I said, oh, I was mad. I was just furious mad at this guy. You know? So, anyway, to make the long story short, he came home after 3 months over there. And yes, he lost weight too. Yeah. And then, the next day, he packed up and moved into the barracks. I was so confused. I said, why are you moving into the barracks? He said, they told me my family is the reason why I'm fat. He said. And I was abused when I was 3 months old by my father. He sexually abused me when I was 3 months old. I said, how do you know that? He said, they hypnotized me and asked me all kinds of questions. And I remember that. Bull crap. I'm thinking, oh my God, how can the 3 months old remember that they're being abused? I don't know, guys. I really don't know what's the system over there in San Diego, but they miss him up big time. To me, they miss him up. So, and oh my gosh, guys, here I was with my children alone in the Navy housing. No job, no money. I think I had like $10 with me. Oh, I was just crying, guys. I didn't know what was going on, and I have these little kids. You know? Well, guys, I'm gonna cut this short again. And see you in my next video, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Have a good day, everyone.